Hi, my name is Daniel Selig. I'm originally from Switzerland, been living in Israel for plenty of time. Traveling with Rabbi Israel Roll for many years, showing him the country. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you to Encounter Israel. We are standing here next to the Jordan River, where according to tradition, the Jewish people crossed over into Eretz Yisrael after ending their 40 years of traveling through the desert. Across from me, to the east, up the riverbanks, it will go to the plains of Moab, and further up then to Mount Nebo, from where Moshe Rabbeinu saw the land. Up the river, it would go northwards towards the springs of the Jordan River, downstream to the left, it goes southward to the Dead Sea, and forward, facing up, it goes westwards into the land towards the city of Jericho. I'm going to read to you now the first verses of the book of Joshua. ויהי אחרי מות משה עבד השם, ויאמר השם אל יהושע בן נון משרת משה לאמור. Now it was after the death of Moshe, the servant of Hashem, and it came to pass that Hashem spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, saying to him, Moshe avdi met, Moshe my servant passed away, ואתה קום עבור את הירדן הזה, אתה וכל העם הזה, אל הארץ אשר אנוכי נותן להם לבני ישראל. And now you rise up, go over the Jordan, and all this people to the land which I do give to them, to Bnei Israel.
Notice that the first word of the verse of Yoshua is Vayehi, the letter Vav. Rashi tells us, the main commentary of the Torah tells us, Mechubar al Seder HaTorah. The letter Vav is the letter of Chibur, connection. Vi means and, Vayehi, and, which means that the Sefer Yoshua, the book of Joshua, is a and from the Torah. Moshe died and Yoshua took over, which means, says my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Shapira, and my Rebbe, Rav Nachman Bulman, Zecher Tzadok Livracha, the Navi is a continuation of the Torah. The Maaseh Avos Siman Labanim, the actions of the fathers, are a precedence, a forebearing of what happens to the children. Whatever happened to the Torah happened in the Navi, and the Navi continued the voice of Hashem. Hakol Gadol V'Ol Yasaf. The great voice of Hashem at Mount Sinai continues in the voice of the Neviim, the prophets. And Yeshua continued the voice Moshe Rabbeinu received at Mount Sinai, and continued leading the Jewish people with that voice, with that nevuah. And that's why Vayihi. Whatever happens to the Avos happens to the children. Whatever happened to Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people in the Midbar happens to Yoshua and the following prophets. It's a continuation of the prophecy. It's a continuation of the fire of Hashem at Mount Sinai, and the nevuah is the word of Hashem in the voice of the Nevi'im, in the heart of the Nevi'im, in order to continue guiding the Jewish people with the same voice that Hashem received, that Hashem gave to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai in the person of Moshe Rabbeinu. What does it mean that we stand here in this incredible place, the place of the Jordan River, where, according to tradition, the Jewish people crossed over, right here, within this space of the Jordan River, the Jewish people passed over the Jordan. And how did they do so? The Torah tells us in Yoshua chapter 3, verse 25. I read it to you as follows. It says, Ukevo nosei ha'aron al hayarden ve'gevraglei ha'kohanim nosei ha'aron nitpelu b'ktzei hamayim va'yarden malei al kol gedosav kol yemei katzir. And it says, when the bearers of the ark arrived at the Jordan, right here, and the feet of the Kohanim, the bearers of the ark, were immersed in the edge of the water, right here. Their feet went into the water right over here. And the Jordan was overflowing all its banks all the days of the harvest season. Says the Navi, Vayamdu hamayim hayordim milmala kamu neid echad, harchek me'od me'adam ha'ir asher mitzad tzartan, vayordim al yam harava yam hamelach, tamu nichratu, ve'am avru neged Jericho. And the Torah said, the Navi says, the waters descending from upstream stood still when the Neviim, when the Kohanim put their feet in the Jordan River, right over here, the waters of the Yarden stopped and piled up like a pillar, and piled up 12 mil high into the sky. And they rose up in one column, very far from Adam, the city that is near Zaretan. And the water that descends to the sea of the plain, the Dead Sea, ceased and was cut off. The water flowing from the Jordan down to the Dead Sea stopped, and a pillar of water stood up to Shemaim, 12 mil high, and was cut off. And the people crossed opposite Jericho. And the Kohanim, the bearers of the Ark of the Covenant of Hashem, stood firmly on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, all Israel crossing on dry ground until the entire nation finished crossing the Jordan. As it says, Vayamdu HaKohanim Nosei Haaron Bris Hashem Becharava. They stood on dry land right here, dry land in the midst of the Jordan River. Betoch HaYarden, in the midst of the Jordan River. Hachein, surely. V'chol Yisrael Ovrim. And everybody from Israel, Ovrim, passed over Becharava on the dry land. Ad asher tamu kol hagoy la'avor et HaYarden, until the entire nation crossed over the Jordan River. Notice that the continuation of the Torah is continued in the Navi. Notice the incredible language used by the crossing of the Jordan River was the same language used in the crossing of the sea when the Jewish people left Egypt. They left Egypt with a splitting of the sea. They entered Israel with the splitting of the sea. Unbelievable. They left Mitzrayim with the splitting of Yamsuf, Kriyas Yamsuf, and they entered into Israel with the splitting of the Jordan River. Listen to the comparative language that was used in the Torah by the splitting of the sea, and the comparative language used right here, as we just read in chapter 3 of Yoshua. It says, Nitzvu chemo neid nozlim. In the Torah it says that there were two pillars, one on this side, one on that side. Nitzvu, they stood up, the pillars and columns of water on both sides. Nitzvu, stood up. Neid nozlim, flowing waters, flowing columns. The water continued to flow, but it flowed in a stop column as the Jewish people crossed the sea in the Kriyas Yamsuf, the crossing of the sea. In the Yoshua it says, Kamu neid echad. Same language, neid, a column. There was one column in Yoshua, one column of water, and there were two columns of water on each side in the Kriyas Yamsuf. The next language of comparison, Ad Ya'avor Amcha Hashem, until your nation crosses over. That's the language of the Shira. Ad Ya'avor Amcha Hashem, until your nation passes through. In the Navi, in Yoshua, it says, Ve'am Avru Neged Jericho, and the Jewish nation crossed opposite Jericho. Where is Jericho? Right there, across from us. They crossed here, north of the Dead Sea, crossed the Jordan River, a pillar of water, up 12 mil. They crossed over the Jordan River and they attacked Jericho, the first nation to attack them. The Jericho was the Jewish people, to conquer the land of Israel. The same language. They passed through. In the Torah it says, Ad Ya'avor Amcha Hashem. In the Yoshua it says, Ve'am Avru Neged Jericho. And then it says, a third comparison. Uvnei Yisrael halchu b'yabasha b'toch hayam. The Jewish people passed through and walked by Yabasha b'toch hayam. That's what it says in the Torah of the Kriyas Yamsuf. And over here in Yoshua, it says, Becharava b'toch hayam, on dry land in the midst of the Yarden. The same language of Becharava b'toch hayarden, and in the Torah it says, Uvnei Yisrael halchu b'yabasha b'toch hayam. Three comparative uses of language. The Navi, the Yoshua, right here Yoshua crossing over the Jordan River was a continuation. The leaving of Egypt was one splitting, the entering Israel was another splitting. What does this mean? What does it mean to la'avor? What does it mean to cross over? In Jonah, the prophet Jonah, when he was in the water, in the boat, and the sea was turbulent and tumultuous, he went to sleep in the bottom of the boat. And the sailors came to him and said, why are you sleeping? What are you doing here? And they asked him the question. Here are the words of the Jonah that the sailors asked Jonah what he's doing there. Ma VeLechtecha, what is your work? U'me'ayin tavo, where you're coming from. Ma artzacha, what is your land? Ve'ei mizeh amata, what nation are you from? Vayomer Alehem, and he answered them, Yonah answered them, Ivri Anochi, I am a Hebrew. Ves Hashem Elokei Hashemayim Ani Yarei, and God, the God of heaven, I am in awe of. Asher Asa Es Hayam Ves Habiyabasha, he made the Yam, he made the sea. I have no problems, I have no worries. He made the tumultuous sea. He made the sea when it's calm. He made the sea when it's tumultuous. He made the Yabasha, the dry land. Ivri Anochi. What does it mean, Ivri Anochi? What does it mean, I am a crosser? A Hebrew means la'avor, to cross over. Ivri means I passed over. I passed through. I crossed over. The Jewish nation crossed over the sea, Kriyas Yamsuf. And the Jewish nation crossed over here at Yarden, Ya'avru. They crossed over the Jordan. And Yonah was a Ya'avor. I am an Ivri. I am a passer. I am a crosser. Crossing over tumultuous seas. That's what he was saying. And my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Shapiro Zatzal, says, what is to be an Ivrim? We are the nation of Ivrim, Hebrews. Ivrim are two words, Ovrei Yam, crossers of the sea. We are Ivrim because we crossed out of Egypt by being Ovrei Yam. We crossed into Yarden, through the Yarden toward Jericho to conquer the land of Israel as Ovrei HaYarden, crossers. Yonah was an Ivri. He was over. He passed through. He said, I am on a journey from Hashem. I am fearful of God. I am disappearing from God. I am hiding from God. But I am passing through. God will protect me. Through any nation, through any water I go through. I am an over yam. Ivrim ovrei yam. And just as Hashem, it says Rav Moshe, just as Hashem gathered the waters. At creation, in the beginning of the world, it says, Yikavu hamayim mitachas hashamayim el makom echad vateira'eh hayabasha, just as God gathered the waters in the creation of the world and gathered them into one place called the sea, the oceans, the seas, in order that the world should have a place for man to live on, vateira'eh, and the land was seen. So he gathered the waters, he split the waters, he moved aside the waters and gathered the place so that there was a yabasha b'soch hayam. Just as in creation God did that, so too, said Rav Moshe, Hashem gathered the waters by Kriyas Yamsu so that the Jewish people have a place to live. A place to live, Ovrei Yam, to pass over by Yabasha on the dry land. And so too, entering into Israel, he crossed the sea, split the sea, Neid Echad, one column, and the Jewish people passed through. Just like at creation, God made a place and passed the waters together, gathered the waters together, and laid a place of land the Jewish people should pass through. So too, over here, Hashem made a miracle. The water stood still at the Yarden, and we had a place to stand through, so we can stand Bacharava, Besoch HaYarden, and go on to the conquering of Eretz Yisrael. What does it mean to be an Over Yam, to be Ovrim, to pass through the sea? It means to be a person who has Emunah. We are Ovrim because we have the schus of trust in God. Not only trust in God, not hope in God, but Emunah means Amen, means certainty. I know God will protect me. I know God will split the sea for me, for the Jewish people to enter the land of Jordan River and enter the land of Israel. I know God will cause the splitting of the sea so the Jewish people can leave Egypt. Leaving Egypt, I know God will protect us. I know God will bring us into Israel. And you and I know God, Ovrim, we are Ivrim, we are Ovrayam, because we know that God will protect us to cross any sea, any turbulent sea, any challenge, any travail, any crisis that you and I might go through. We are crossing the sea. And we have the same Amunah, the same faith the Jewish people had when they crossed the sea, B'charava b'toch hayam, b'soch hayarden, not only by the Kriyas Yamsuf, but also by the Yarden. So too we draw upon ourselves that Amunah the Jewish people passed through. We can draw strength from this place, that the Jewish people had Amunah, that the sea would split, that Hashem wants us to live by the Torah out of Egypt. He wants us to live by the Torah in the Midbar. He wants us to live by the Torah in Israel. He wants us to live in the Torah in Baltimore, in New York, in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, in Chile, in Toronto, in Europe, in London, in Antwerp, in Switzerland. Wherever we go, whatever challenges we face, and any galus we face, we are Ovrei Yam. We pass through. We are Ovrei Yam in the schus of our Amunah, the schus of our certainty in God. Amunah means I believe in God, intellectually, philosophically. Bitachon means I act on that Amunah. I act and I say, I am going to go forward into the sea. I'm going to jump in the water like Nachshon. I'm going to jump in the water. I'm going to put my feet like the Kohanim put their feet in the water right over here. And the water split, because Hashem said the water will split. I am in charge of the sea. I created the sea. I created the dry land. All you need to do, Jewish people, is be Ovreyam, Ovrim, be Ivrim, be Hebrews. Cross over the sea. And that says in the Torah, Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo. They believed in God and Moses, his servant. How? They sang the Shira. Can you imagine that? They sang the song of Hashem, the song Ki Ga'u Ga'asus V'Rochva Rama Vayam. Aziv Azim Raska Vahili Yeshua Zekeli Ve'anveyu Elokei Aviv Ramenu. This is my God and I will glorify him. They said, this is my God. I see him. I see Hashgacha. I see the Merkava. I see God's guidance. I see it with my own eyes. I am certain. I don't believe. I don't have hope. I know God will protect me. That's what Emunah means. Emunah means I know he will protect me. I know he will protect the Jewish nation. He will bring us through the crossing of the sea, through the crossing of the Jordan, through any crossing that we have to cross in our lives. We are Ovreyam, we are Ivrim, we are Hebrews. And in that way, when the Jewish people sang, Az Yashir Moshe Uvnei Israel, Hashira Lashem Kigog, imagine this. The Jewish people sang a Shira, and their song of Emunah became part of the Torah. Hashem didn't dictate it. The Jewish people dictated the Az Yashir, says Rav Moshe. They said Az Yashir with Emunah, perfect faith. They saw God. Zekeli, this is my God and I, Ve'anveyu. My God and I will glorify him because I see the hand of God. I see Hashgacha. I am certain, not only with Emunah, with hope, but with certainty. Bitachon means batuach, certainty. I know he will guide me. That is what bitachon means. And that action of bitachon, because of Az Yashir, therefore we can connect to the Ein Sof. And our job is to continue to sing Az Yashir, to sing the song of Hashem. Az, Aleph, Zayin, 7. Aleph is 1, Zayin is 7, 8, beyond Teva. Az Yashir. We continue to sing not only through natural situations, but in the supernatural. How? Through Emunah. When we sing our Shira of Emunah to Hashem, he writes it down. He records it as our relationship with Hashem. We can connect to the Ein Sof, to the infinite one, the never-ending one, through our never-ending Emunah. And that is the meaning of this place. We should cross over every travail, every crisis, every ordeal in our lives, just like the Jewish people crossed over the sea, Yam Suf. They crossed over the Yarden. They crossed over and they conquered Israel, Jericho, right up opposite us. And you and I can cross over any challenge. Draw chizuk and strength from this place, this unbelievable place of encountering Israel in this beautiful place of the Jordan, and cross the sea, and let us, each of us, sing our own Shira Lashem, our own Shira of personal emunah and trust in God, knowledge of God, certainty in God, that we can sing the song of Hashem and connect to the Almighty.